Welcome to the Commerce Talks podcast, episode number 57. Today with Kushal Nahata from FarEye. FarEye is a company in the logistics sector, building a software platform, helping many retailers and logistics companies to offer better customer experiences. They are also a partner of Spryker because we have the same investor with TCV from the United States. With Kushal, I'm also discussing the more recent development in the ultra-fast logistics segment driven by Getir, Gorillas, Flink and others. Can they become a part of the more international network of logistics companies? Will logistics be a service they can earn money with? That is one of the questions I discussed with Kushal, but anyway, there's many topics you will be interested in, and I had some enlightening moments when we discussed the challenges in the logistics industry. So enjoy the podcast. Kushal, welcome to the Commerce Talks podcast. We've already met during the K5 Digital conference. I think this was in May or so. And there we figured out it would be totally valuable to have you on the Commerce Talks podcast too, to talk about the challenges in the logistics industry. So we have one common thing, which is TCV as an investor in our shareholder deck, and we met through TCV. But maybe can you give an intro about yourself and FarEye would be great.
Absolutely, thanks, Alex, and it was lovely interacting during that time as well. I think I'll just add to it. Outside TCV, I think we happen to play in a similar ecosystem of enabling e-commerce for the brands and consumers, which also connects us as well. A quick introduction of myself. I'm Kushal Nahata, co-founder and CEO of FarEye. Started FarEye directly after my engineering and started it in 2013. So it's been an interesting journey, and that's the time when logistics delivery assets were evolving. E-commerce was really pushing industry to come to more predictable, faster, more effective deliveries. And the trend kind of continues today. Today, it's a lot more real. Every player out there is feeling that heat. Either you transform and be the player for the e-commerce/internet delivery, and you need to really look at your technology landscape and your operations as well. Just a quick introduction of FarEye as well. It's an intelligent delivery platform we've built for brands and courier service providers to provide a better delivery experience to their end consumers and reduce their cost. So that's essentially at a very high level, starting from 30 minutes delivery for Domino's to, let's say, furniture delivery for large brands like Wayfair of the world, or let's say the grocery delivery. We kind of play across categories and helping brands and service providers to optimize their deliveries and provide a great delivery experience to you and I as consumers and all of us at the end of the day.
Okay, I mean, maybe let's stick with this Domino's example so I understand it and the listeners also can understand it. So why is Domino's working with you? So why don't they do it themselves? So I think like pizza delivery, there's like two options. You hire the drivers and they're employed so on your P&L. And then when an order comes in, they start their bike, their whatever car, and bring it to the customer. Or you're using let's say freelance network, more or less, and therefore, and those drivers are delivering not only pizza but other stuff too. So why do they need FarEye, or what do they use you for?
Absolutely, and so Alex, I think it goes to the brand ethos, and then you do things you are built for and do it in a great way. So Domino's focuses on making world's best pizzas for us, and then the other products as well. And they leverage FarEye to essentially get those pizzas delivered to our houses in 30 minutes or less than that. So the journey, the way it works is once you've got an order and it goes to the right store from where the pizza is getting baked, now at that same time, FarEye as a platform looks at, do you have enough drivers for this delivery? How much time will it take? And really optimize the real-time dispatch which is happening. And as you would imagine, there are tens and hundreds of orders coming in real time. So one is making drivers available. The second is optimizing the deliveries to ensure all of it reaches within the time frame. And then the third is providing that visibility and experience to the end consumers. There's a very high anxiety for us when we've ordered food. Where is it? We click multiple times. You want to know, has it left the store? Is it on the way? Is it arriving? So providing that visibility and experience to the end consumers as well. And at the end, ensuring that you have a delivery promise which has been met. That's more at an execution level. Now, if we step back, you need to plan the drivers. And I think you rightly said, you can't really run it with all of your own fleet. And specifically, it's a peak and troughs business as food, you would imagine. You're not ordering across the day. So there are certain times of the day where there are peaks. There are certain days of the week where it's peak, which is essentially your weekend evenings or festivals or essentially vacations, holidays, right? So balancing that network with your own and external crowdsource as well. So you are having the right number of drivers. So we help in building and managing the crowdsource drivers as well. Now, what it does is it gives focus for brands like Domino's to actually go deeper and have better pizzas baked and innovate over there. And while the delivery intelligence and execution is taken care by FarEye with its technology. There's a third scenario possible as well, where you say, look, as a brand, I don't want to own drivers. I don't want to manage it. And I completely outsource it, let's say, to a third vendor, which is doing in hyperlocal / on-demand delivery. The challenge with there is you do not have the control on the delivery experience. And that has become for a paramount importance for businesses because delivery experience is defining the consumer experience today. So if you're not able to control the delivery experience, you're having a very high risk and actually a churn in your business as well. So that's essentially why Domino's uses FarEye to reduce the cost per delivery, to provide deliveries within the SLA, and to actually ensure you have enough capacity available to execute the business as well.
And how can you help them with providing the capacity? So let's say in a certain city, there you see there won't be enough drivers for the peak demand. What exactly can you do here?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Alex. So it works in three ways. One, system to kind of manage your crowdsource / freelancers, as we said, right? So you essentially have a broadcast system where you create those rosters, you broadcast, and you build a pipeline that you have enough drivers who will be coming for that day, for that slot. So that's one part of it. Now, in real time, let's say your orders have increased. Then we actually integrate with the local delivery providers as well, because essentially you want the volumes to be delivered within that time frame. So in real time, we can look at, do you have enough drivers or do you need extra drivers? And if you need them, we engage with the delivery service providers, which are pre-integrated to the platform to make those drivers available. And then the third is by increasing the number of deliveries they can do by optimizing their routes. So that's how we kind of essentially increasing the capacity across the spectrum.
But do you hire drivers yourself? So I understood FarEye so far is like a software-based business. So you
absolutely.
So you don't have drivers.
We don't have drivers on FarEye, FarEye payroll or this, but we have network which is integrated to FarEye, and you can leverage that network to get deliveries done for multiple categories. So it's essentially the combination of delivery optimization and delivery orchestration. And orchestration essentially provides you that network of service providers. There could be some which are very, very local to that city or country. There could be some which operates nationwide, and you get that capacity which you can leverage.
Okay, got it. One of the former guests, I think like 2 episodes before you, we had Miki Kusi, the founder of Bolt, in the podcast, which is a high-funded food delivery business from Helsinki. And he said because they own the delivery fleet, they can control the experience and therefore outperform former monopolists like Lieferando in Berlin. Would such a business need your services too? Would it make sense for a Vault, because listeners know it now, to use the FarEye service, or are they too far advanced and can do it on their own?
No, absolutely. So we essentially like the value from FarEye is for any and every business which is into deliveries. Now that deliveries could be with your own fleet, private fleet, or could be with an external, or could be combination of it. As a platform, we help optimize the routes, plan the drivers better, and provide that visibility and experience to the consumer. So that's essentially what is important for businesses which are having their own delivery fleets as well. And then what you want to achieve is consistency and repeatability, right? Like I think one of the biggest challenges logistic industry has had is a lot of those operations were manual. So the knowledge, the local knowledge of the geography of that area resides in the brains of that local driver. Now that knowledge is getting digitalized and can be leveraged when you're doing the next delivery. So for example, geocoding of addresses. So we got a strong ML platform which helps geocode the delivery addresses and actually identify, is it the correct address or that needs to be rechecked. Now, if you can do earlier in the journey when the order is placed, you actually save the last hassle of driver finding that exact location or marking it as failed delivery. At the same time, things like customer anxiety, right? Like if delivery is late after a certain time, it really does not matter. And like in this example, if you're hungry right now, and I would say, Alex, can you wait for 6 more hours and I'll get you best pizza delivered? And I actually promise you 30 minutes. So it really does not help, right? So figuring out the delivery anxiety for the end customer and actually helping to set the right expectation by predicting the time of delivery plays another big role as well. So a lot of these AI ML capabilities further help in providing that consistent and more reliable experience to consumers.
Okay, so one big problem we saw during Corona, especially for online retailers, was that there are not enough logistics capacity available, not only in warehouses, but especially on the last mile thing. And now even more, we see a fight for drivers or for delivery drivers in the bigger cities in Europe, where there's even now like cash being paid for driver that joined service A and just came from service B or so. But so it's like it's really crazy. Is that a phenomenon you have seen in other countries too? Is it kind of a global thing that that there's not enough drivers available, and because more and more people are ordering online, are ordering stuff that will be delivered, or is it just in our bubble?
No, that's one of the topmost problems the industry is going through, Alex. The shortage of delivery drivers is something which is real, and it's there in almost all parts of the world. Post-COVID, it's become more real because there used to be a movement of drivers from, let's say, developing nations to developed nations or certain belts. Now, COVID actually paused that movement or that transition to open up that capacity. The other thing is the overall delivery volumes have increased. Now, every single business has to be a delivery business, if it's an e-commerce, if it's an internet business, or if it's a customer-centric brand. So suddenly with excess of volumes and shortage of drivers, that's creating this challenge. And that's where we feel we need to leverage technology a lot more than we do. There hasn't been a lot of investments in increasing driver productivity, in improving the lives of drivers, right? What are the break times? How can we make it more efficient for them? How can they do more deliveries in the same period of time? How can we sort and prepare a planned route? Like the interesting part when we started with, and it's actually true as on date as well, a lot of the route planning and the on ground is actually happening manually by the drivers. So if you kind of walk into some of these warehouses / hubs, you'll see 30, 40 drivers standing and kind of throwing parcels to kind of sort out, this is your area, this is my area kind of a thing. And I think it's a very, very mathematical problem. The challenge was pure mathematics was the algorithm does not consider uh, a local knowledge of a driver. So if you're sending a driver to a new area every day, uh, she's not familiar, and it's not really that proactive. So for us, one of the greatest innovations was when we spent time with drivers and kind of understood how are they planning and use that knowledge along with algorithm to ensure they're going on same area, but you're planning in terms of distance that they need to cover. That's one element which is definitely creating increasing the capacity. The other I would say is crowdsource slash freelancing deliveries, like the way Uber and Ola, the on-demand taxi revolution started. I think it's the same thing. Logistics industry will also see where you will have smaller teams setting up their own delivery business, and they will be hooked to a network. It could be a network of service providers. It could be directly with retailers, but that essentially creating a lot more entrepreneurial opportunity across these geographies where there's smaller teams can actually start running a business. And then things like how they're getting paid, are they incentivized for the right behavior? A lot of those things have been ignored, which I think as we move towards more the delivery economy world, right? And I think the newest trend has been the quick commerce, right? Where we're getting stuff like even a same day on demand is not enough. We want it within 30 minutes or within 15 minutes. That creates further need for more efficient and reliable drivers. So I think combination of technology to increase their productivity and also creating this freelancing crowdsourcing network are the big levers people are investing in today across the geographies.
As we are talking about the ultra-fast delivery services like Getir or Gorillas or Flink or others worldwide, part of their pitch to investors is that they're going to build a delivery fleet, or let's say thousands and thousands of like drivers that are not only delivering food from Gorillas, but will be available through networks like FarEye, for example, for other services. Do you believe in that vision, or do you have proof cases from other regions of the world where this already happened?
Yeah, this is so. Look, I think just going back to the last point we were making, Alex, delivery capacity and specifically efficient delivery capacity is a big challenge out there. Mm-hmm. So if we can have that capacity exposed to a network and essentially create interoperability of delivery of drivers across different businesses or different products, it creates a lot of efficiency out there. So in my personal view, I feel these are real businesses. The capacity they'll create will help not just their business, but also unlocking home deliveries for other businesses as well. And you can really tie up, like food does not have a demand across the day. So if you build a network of food drivers, you can essentially leverage them for the rest of the day, let's say for furniture delivery, or in sometimes grocery and food also complements. So there's interesting way to leverage the capacity you have built and the time when you do not have those peaks, you can still make it productive and have drivers earn more. So I actually believe these businesses would scale, and it's very, very recent. Like it's just a starting concept where some cities, some states have started 50, 30 minutes delivery. I think this is a phenomena which will going to stay and actually expand because we as consumers, we are getting addictive, and we are getting addictive to on-demand, immediate, instant gratification as the world, right? So all of this kind of brings in that same phenomena. Like if you go back the same way, I think the way it started in taxi industry as well, and now it's again the problem of capacity, not really the demand. So similarly, in logistics, efficient capacity is needed multiple times than what it is today.
Have you seen those services already grown into a service setup? So, for example, I don't know, in Indonesia you have Gojek or so. So, was it proven
Absolutely.
this kind of vision where you say, okay, there is in countries with a high Gini coefficient, so lots of people that really want to work and deliver, and enough people that really order online. Do we see this kind of service infrastructure already, where I can just say, okay, I'd like to have my clothes picked up from shop A. Please bring it to me now. Is it possible in some countries? Because that is kind of the vision Gorillas and Getir are selling in their pitch decks.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think you mentioned a great example. Gojek in Indonesia, it's not limited to a single category. They started doing multiple categories, and they've even extended that for mobility of people on bikes as well. So not just the products, but even helping humans commute, because you've got a bike, you've got a capacity which is available. Similarly, in China and in India as well, to give some examples, like Swiggy, a large uh, food delivery company in India. Now they started with pure food, and now they've added delivery of any parcel to your homes as well. Uh, the, the the two different models, though, which exist is one: do you extend your capacity to other businesses, or you start owning some of those businesses as well? I think that's really an interesting factor. Businesses have built in both. Do you look at delivery capacity as your core, or do you look at the consumer as your core? If you look at consumer, then you slowly start looking at increasing the wallet size and playing in other categories as well. That the consumer needs food, they need grocery, they need to move their own shipments, items from one place to another, and that's how we'll kind of a build as well. Or do you look at my core business is essentially delivery capacity? I'll run this business X and I'll expose the additional capacity to the others as well. Interestingly, both the businesses have been successful and scaled up.
Mm. Okay. Okay, got it. Then let's talk about another problem in the delivery space. So some of the listeners here know that in 2020 there was a change in the world postal contract setup, which was built in a way that Chinese or some Asian retailers could send products for a very cheap price to Europe or to the US. So it cost them maybe, let's say, instead of $10, only like $1, and the rest was then taken care for by other countries. This is now not possible anymore, and some say this is also the reason why companies like Wish or GearBest or others do have problems now, because you cannot send your $20 drone for $1 anymore to Europe. You have to pay now $20, and therefore the business model is collapsing and favors retailers that have built logistics infrastructures in the countries where they are delivering to. Then you don't have this problem anymore, or it's a different problem, but not as big anymore. So do you have a view here or some perspective that can help our listeners?
Yeah. So, Alex, it's I think this problem is related to the two parts of this problem. One is around the efficiency and cost of logistics part of it. The other is the more political, which is also the agendas different countries and different regions are driving. So, like at least with one of the things with COVID, one large realization was that depending on a single supply chain is actually troublesome, because there were stages where there were congestion at the ports. It was blocked for months, and you really didn't have any visibility of where your container or the shipments within those containers as well. And which really moved towards more of local manufacturing as a concept, and really governments helping subsidize or motivate local manufacturing as well. That's one way which I feel is real. and it creates employment for the country. It creates value. So I don't think that the that local manufacturing is a phenomena which is going to stay and which will essentially increase local trade than an international trade. That's one element which I feel a lot of it is driven at the country and the politics level. The other element from an efficiency and cost, I think, look, a lot of these shipments are moving through ocean. And the trade-off between ocean and air is ocean is extremely cheap but takes a lot of time. I think it's pretty obvious, right? And air is very expensive but takes very less amount of time. As oceans get more efficient, the trade through ships, and there have been multiple scenarios. There were a couple of scenarios this year as well when there was containers, there was shipped, which is there, the canal couldn't move, and then the entire trade belt was really jammed. So I don't think moving at that cost is sustainable. So in my opinion, you'd be investing more for the logistics than what you were at that point of time. Now, definitely you can make it efficient, you can make it faster, but I still do not see that economics really working. You can do at a certain stage to get early customers, to get that adoption, but eventually you need to run the business profitably. Like there have been so many scenarios, right, where the cost of returns is actually more than the cost of the product itself. So a lot of these brands ask that, why don't you throw the product? We don't want it returns because the cost of returns itself is higher. I think those logistics and returns costs are part of the balance sheets P&L right now. The other lever is there was a smaller percentage of your online business versus an offline. And I think that is also shifting where online is taking a larger portion there, where your delivery cost, both locally and internationally, plays a role. So maybe if I if you ask me a one-liner view, I don't see those models working again. It was a short-term phenomena which happened. There could be another smaller peaks which can be built on with some schemes, some trade policies. But the cost of logistics is significant there. The cross-border e-commerce, though, would definitely be there for the products, but I think logistics cost is still a large element, which was ignored initially, but because of the volumes are now part of those businesses' P&L, and people would need to pay. It may be the end consumers or businesses, someone need to pay for this logistics cost.
Okay, got it. And then I saw another trend in the logistics industry, which we especially see on the press sections on corporate websites now, that there will be now robots or like smaller vehicles in bigger cities delivering packages. Is this something we should take serious, or is this just a PR scam?
No, so both, right? I would say there are two elements you'd be reading, Alex. The other is drone delivery as the new trend. At least there are certain countries which have started, some pilots which have started, and starting from Amazons of the world to a lot of other brands have started doing doing drone deliveries as well. And similarly, autonomous vehicles for doing the deliveries at the same time, right? So look, where the infrastructure is being built in those cities where it's more organized, you can geocode those addresses, the shipments can be dropped off or consumers can come and pick up. It will be real. And if you extrapolate to, let's say, 3 to 5 years forward, the shortage of delivery drivers will be a lot more than what it is today. The number of deliveries would have increased to what is today. I think 5 years back, on an average, there were 1 to 2 products which consumers were ordering online. Now that has moved a variety of lists, from food to grocery to fashion to furniture to electronics. Everything is kind of now moved towards an online. So your deliveries are increasing, drivers are shortage. And for this capacity, the automated vehicles become a large lever. It's still an early experiment. Like any other technology, it takes a little while to kind of make it efficient and make it scalable. But that's a trend which is real. I do not see a large change, let's say, in a short period, if you talk 1 to 2 years from now. But if you talk about mid-time, let's say 3 to 5 years from now, that impact is definitely real. And it also reduces your cost per delivery and makes your deliveries autonomous. Like, I'm extreme believer that the future of deliveries is essentially the autonomous deliveries. The entire journey from the time we place an order online to getting our products at our houses. There's a lot of decision making which is happening from where should I ship this product? Who's the right fleet to ship it? How much time will it take? What is the cost per delivery? Will consumer be available at that time? Does he wants to change or she wants to reschedule? Now, all of that decision making will be completely automated. As we move towards autonomous journey over there, the physical delivery part of it will also part of it will get automated. It's not an 100% zero and one kind of a curve, but it'll be part of it where for certain categories this could become real.
Mm-hmm. And what are you looking forward for the rest of 2021? So a part of like getting rid of the pandemic, I guess. So is there anything big, very innovative we can expect from FarEye?
So I think the topmost ask is essentially what you said, right? That there is no next wave coming up in any part of the world, right? Be it the third or the fourth. I think I've forgotten the count now for different geographies and regions now.
Yeah, we are waiting for the fourth wave here. Yeah, you said you're located in India. You're looking like into the third wave, maybe, or you're hoping that the third wave won't come.
Correct. So that's one is the lesser scenarios we have in vaccines getting more effective. But from FarEye perspective, look, last year, I think you kind of mentioned earlier, early this year is where we got TCE as an investor with a large amount of capital. So we started scaling aggressively in Europe, specifically with a team built and local offices as well. This continuous innovation we are happening. Like the recent to talk about is empowering the quick commerce or the 15-30 minutes delivery. Very, very interesting problem statement. Like you do not have time essentially to plan. It needs to be, the complete journey needs to be planned before and calls for a very distributed dark store / network to get it delivered. That's one we're working on. Drone delivery is the most recent one where we started. And we're seeing certain categories like medicine, blood samples, extremely mission critical deliveries or geographies where the terrains are complex to travel. So essentially your cost by land is expensive and you can have drone deliveries more efficient. So I would say these are certain elements which we are working on, Alex. And as you would know, right, it's a fast moving goalpost here. We as consumers, our expectations are increasing and the new standards which is coming in the industry is getting for lesser time, providing better experience, and then also reducing the cost. I think cost is one element which wasn't there, looked so seriously the way it's looked nowadays.
Okay, got it. So, Kushal, thank you for your time. It was a pleasure again, understanding and getting more into the details. From what I understood is that it's just the beginning. So we are going to see more and more from the features you've just said. I think being able to put the tracking code into some like delivery tracking tool that started a couple of years ago is just the beginning. We will see more and more services that will allow us to see where is my delivery, so what's the status in between. Not only we got the order and today you're getting the shipment message. It's more complicated. We see more network approaches, and you believe into the vision. Or you buy into the vision of the Getirs and Gorillas of this world that they can become eventually logistics provider, and I definitely will fact check it in a year from now, and then at latest we will see again. Thank you, Kushal.
Absolutely, Alex. It was a pleasure speaking with you. I think another interesting element which you said, right, the tracking of the shipment. I think that's also getting into tracing of it end to end from manufacturers to consumers. So it's just beginning of the entire transformation which is happening for the delivery ecosystem out there.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please don't forget to rate this podcast on iTunes or whatever tool you are using to listening to podcasts. Next week, you can hear my podcast with the managing director of Okado Solutions, the undenied most successful software and logistics setup in the grocery industry. And there's very, very interesting learnings I could gather from this podcast. So I'm sure you will be too.